How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a full-time mid-six-figure Amazon seller, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to use a software called Tactical Arbitrage. I know a lot of you guys are probably familiar with this software. This is probably the #1 most powerful tool that I use in my business. I'll show you the exact strategies I use to really leverage Tactical Arbitrage because I know a lot of people have tried it, haven't found a lot of success with it, and gave up on it. I know that was my story. I tried to use Tactical Arbitrage, I guess a little over a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago at this point. Tried it for the free trial, didn't really find anything and gave up. So I want to show you a pretty good strategy that I've been able to develop that you should be able to go out and make some money with. Before we jump into today's video, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't already checked it out, there's gonna be a link right down below for our completely free Amazon seller Discord server. Would love to see you in there. There's a ton of great free information, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. So in this video, I want to go ahead and show you two of my favorite ways to use Tactical Arbitrage. I'll go ahead and show you the exact filters and everything that you're going to need to really be successful with this tool. Because if you don't have the right filters, you're not looking at the right stuff, it's just not going to be successful. So hopefully this video will give you a nice starting point for that. So the first thing that I do when I'm looking for Tactical Arbitrage scans, because if we go ahead and look at the very basics of this software, for those of you who are brand new, all we do is we can type in a website here. So let's say we want to search Walmart.com. We can select beauty, add to bulk. And now essentially this is going to be scanning through every single product on Walmart.com, and it's going to try to find arbitrage opportunities where we can buy it at Walmart and flip it for a profit on Amazon. Very basic. This search is also very basic, and everyone in the world is doing this search right here. They're just plugging in Walmart categories, searching it through and letting it run, and then when they don't find anything, they're wondering what's going on when they're doing the exact same thing as everyone else in the world. So we need to go ahead and go maybe one step deeper, find some kind of things that other people are not replicating. So let me go ahead and clear that real quick. So what I like to do is I look for coupon deals. So I'm going to go ahead and look over at Vitacost. And the reason I pulled up Vitacost is it's just a site that I like to buy from. They sometimes have some good coupon codes. So in this case, like this one might be worth scanning. We got 15% off vegan foods. Looks like $10 off 60. I don't love the X dollars off of X dollars spend because it's not so easy as a percentage code, because typically you're going to be spending a lot more than $60 per order. So I'm not really seeing any sales that I love over here on Vitacost. So I'm going to go ahead and check out a couple more websites I went ahead and pulled up. So I've got IHerb. This seems like a decent search. It's 30% off some cognitive health stuff. I'm a little bit apprehensive to sell cognitive health type products. Seems maybe, I don't know, seems like a little risky. This, however, is a little bit more interesting to me. I see it's 25% off like some lotions and creams and stuff. I have no problem selling that kind of stuff. So this seems like it might actually be a pretty decent search here because we're going to be getting 25% off this entire category. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab this link up here. And the reason that I'm going to grab this link is because when I click this coupon code, this is where it took me. And then that means that if I keep scrolling here, you can see that all this stuff is, you know, save 25% in the cart. And it looks like there's a ton of products that are 25% off. So honestly, it seems like a pretty good search. Like I kind of just stumbled upon this for the video, but seems like a really good search. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over back into Tactical Arbitrage. We're going to punch in IHerb here. And then instead of selecting like a category, adding it in and just, you know, not going the extra mile, we're going to go ahead and grab this link. In this case, it seems like a pretty broad link. It might even be the same as selecting bath and personal care, but just to be extra sure, we're going to do start page 1. And then like we saw here, there's 450 pages of products like that. So we're going to do 450. And then down here on the filters is where the real magic happens. So this box, this one right here, the more things you can put in here, the more profit you're gonna be able to spit out. So 25% is our discount. The next thing I'm gonna look for is I'm gonna go ahead and look at the Rakuten on IHerb. So it looks like over here, we're getting 2% back from Rakuten. So that's a good sign. Plus 1, maybe 2% from your credit card. I'm just gonna be conservative and say 3%. Maybe you could add sales tax if you're sending to a state with sales tax. Most of these products I'm probably gonna be paying sales tax on because they're not in the categories that are sales tax exempt. At least for me, when I'm sending to Florida, I have some categories that I usually source in that are tax exempt, some that aren't. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and tack on that 7% sales tax. And now the filters is where we can get a little bit technical with it to get rid of a lot of duds. So if you use Tactical Arbitrage, you scan things without any filters, you're going to find a whole bunch of junk. So you can pause the video. I also have a video breaking down the exact filters that I use, but I'll run through this very quickly. I don't want to make this a full like filter tutorial video, but the main things I look out for here is remove the number of sellers, less than 2, more than 70. If it's less than 2, that means the product is probably private label, meaning that it's very controlled. The listing is controlled by the brand that created the product. So we don't want to be on those listings. And then more than 70, it's just a lot of sellers. You could bump that up. I typically don't use Tactical Arbitrage to find super high competition listings. Those tend to be more, you know, your retail arbitrage, your hot item kind of products where you can genuinely sell a lot of something with more than 70 sellers on it. But down here on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and remove if Amazon is a seller and now in stock. We don't compete with Amazon. Amazon's not going to share these sales with us. So go ahead and flip that that on. I also try to remove hazmat products. I don't like messing with hazmat. That's up to your own preferences. Numbers of review and ratings, 3 and 3. That's going to establish just a little bit of demand in the form of the fact that it has a couple ratings, a couple reviews, and then I remove it if it's less than 3 because I don't want any products that are likely to get returned. If it has a really low rating, customers are not happy with the product, I just don't want to mess with that. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and remove Amazon less than 9 and then more than 200. Less than 9 is really difficult to make a profit, and then more than 200 would generate some kind of, those returns could be some headaches if you're not doing it the right way. Let's say a customer returns maybe a really expensive pair of shoes, they wore them, and then you're just kind of out that money. I don't really want to mess with that. So that's basically all the filters I'm going to throw on here. You could also throw on something like remove if Amazon's been in stock 25% or more, or 50% or more over the last 30 days. That's going to show you listings where Amazon has had trouble staying in stock, and sometimes those can create massive opportunity because Amazon gets on those listings, creates a bunch of demand, a bunch of ratings, and then they go out of stock, and then we as third-party sellers can go in there and make some decent profits on those listings. So the next thing we can go ahead and look at is source titles. This is if you're looking for like a very specific brand or something like that. And then for our costs and fees, you could go ahead and throw in, so maybe let's say you use a prep center, they charge you $1.50, you could throw that in there, and it's going to automatically include that in the costs. I'm just going to leave that blank for now. You could also go ahead and throw in a 0.3 down here for your cost to ship to Amazon, because that's about what it costs to ship to Amazon. Usually is 30 cents a pound or so. If you're filling up those boxes to close to 50 pounds, that's a great way to get very cheap shipping. Profit and ROI, I'm filtering $3 gross profit and 35% gross ROI, just some nice baseline metrics to look at. And then make sure you're comparing to the buy box price instead of the average price. You could do the average price if you want to be really safe. That might find less stuff, but more stuff that's going to be actually good items. But I like to see as many things as possible. You'll kind of develop over time. You'll develop the craft of getting through this data as fast as possible. So that's what I like to do. Maybe at the beginning, it would be kind of useful to throw on the average price. That's going to find items where it's very consistent versus maybe some price spikes and stuff is what this is going to pull us up here. So down here, I also want to show Amazon out of stock results just in case there's any demand or profit opportunities hiding in there. And then we're just going to go ahead and click search. And now it's actually going to go ahead and search through all of those pages. One thing I would look out for here, I would look out for just to make sure that this search starts. Sometimes it can get a little finicky with the links here. So I'm going to make sure that this adds some products. All right. So down here in the queue, it looks like we're chugging away here. It looks like it's already checked about 100 products. I've let it run for probably 30 seconds or a minute, and that's just going to go ahead and run. It looks like it's expecting over 10,000 products to be in this search. So it'll probably take a little bit, especially when you're scanning a bunch of products. So you can see here something that I think a virtual assistant set this search up. It looks like they're just doing a regular old Walmart to Amazon search. I talked about that at the beginning of the video. You can find some stuff from time to time, but as you can see, the odds of you finding something that's worth looking at really low. You can see it's already looked through 191,000 products, and it's only added 268 that it thinks could be profitable. And then of that, we're going to go ahead and filter a bunch of that again. So I like to go ahead and make much more targeted searches. So we're going to go ahead and let that run. And while that runs, let me show you a different way that I really like to use tactical arbitrage. So this is the reverse search feature of tactical arbitrage. There's a lot of things you can do to get really fancy in this screen. I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to do this, and it honestly is a very powerful strategy. It's going to be searching through seller storefronts. As you can see, it's so powerful that we're actually limited to the amount of times that we can do this every day. So go ahead and make sure you're running these kind of searches with your tactical arbitrage account. But let me show you how to find a good store to go ahead and search through. So this is an example of a product that I stumbled upon recently. It was a good arbitrage flip, great profit opportunity. So if you have a good product that you've been flipping lately, or a product that you found that was profitable, maybe with that earlier tactical arbitrage scan, just start with a profitable product. And then we're going to go ahead and reverse search the sellers on this listing. So I'm going to find an FBA seller with a decent amount of ratings. In this case, this guy seems to meet our criteria, but he is undercutting everyone else by $10. So I don't want to be on this guy's listings if he's going to keep doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and look for somebody who's priced a little higher. So in this case, this guy looks good to me. Amazon fulfilled, got about 1,000 ratings, which means they're doing pretty good volume. They're not a mega seller, but they're doing pretty good volume. They've probably got some good products that we can actually go ahead and reverse search. Looks like they're selling about 770 items. So from here, we're going to go ahead and grab their seller ID, and the seller ID is up here in the URL. So it's right there. That's their seller ID. And then this is like the marketplace ID, as you can see in the URL up here. But we're going to grab this seller ID right up here. We're going to go back over to tactical arbitrage and punch that into our seller ID. So now this is going to go ahead and algorithmically look through all the products that this seller is selling. I've got a similar filter set to the one we just talked about. And now we're going to go ahead and press search. It's going to load up all those products and then search those into tactical arbitrage. And it's going to work a little bit differently. So the one we just did with IHerb, that's going to find the IHerb product. It's going to send it directly to Amazon, and it's going to say, well, this product's cheaper on Amazon. It's not a good product. Or it's going to say, hey, this might be a good opportunity. The difference now is with reverse searching, it's going to pull up all these ASINs, and then it's going to try to find among a bunch of different sources. It's going to try to find the cheapest place to find that ASIN, and then try to see if it's profitable. So it can create some massive opportunities just because it also is essentially a list of products that this person is selling, and it's reasonable to infer that they wouldn't be selling this product if they're not making money on it, right? So this is going to go ahead and look through everything they're selling. I can see right off the bat, this seems like an online arbitrage seller just based on the products they're selling. With the amount of ratings they had, I thought they might be a little bit wholesale. They might be a little bit wholesale, but just by looking at them, I think they are also an online arbitrage seller. So this should be fairly successful. It looks like we're looking through their store already. Of 23 products, we've got 700 to go. So we'll see how that one goes as well. So now that we've talked about 2 ways that we can go ahead and set up profitable scans using TA, we're going to go ahead and dive into the data aspect of this. I'll show you how to get your screen looking like this so you can make sure that you're finding tons of profitable products, because it does not default to this. So real quick, I do want to mention that if you are really interested in checking out this tool, there is going to be a link down below for a 10-day free trial. I highly encourage you to go grab that extended free trial, use this video, try to run some scans, see if you can find something profitable. And if you do that using that link, that helps support the channel. So I really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and jump into this view data tab over here. So after all these scans are running, it looks like a bunch of this is some of that Walmart data, a little bit of Target that I was talking about earlier. So what we need to do now is go into the manage columns. And what you need to do is orient your columns in a way that gives you the most data to look at and be able to make a decision without clicking on these listings. Because clicking on listings takes bandwidth, it takes time for the page to load. So we want to save as much time as possible. So the first thing I would recommend is just dragging some of these columns around so you can see we can just move it anywhere we want. History chart is super important. It will default to being at the very bottom. So just go ahead and drag it up to the top, turn it on. And then I like to use this layout here so that I've got my history chart, I've got my title, I've got the source, the Amazon title, and the Amazon image. And this helps me see through a lot of mistakes. So like if maybe let me scroll here. I bet it won't take me long. Yeah, right here. Perfect example. I see that this is a pack of 1 and this is a pack of 3. Tactical arbitrage missed it versus this one down here where it's kind of purplish. This is where tactical arbitrage knows that it's a multi-pack. And so this is different than here. With this product right here, I know that I can just immediately scroll past it. And we can also use the history chart to do this as well. So in this case, I'm honestly kind of intrigued with all these Keepa charts over here. But if we find something that's maybe on a price spike, so we can see this product here, you can see it usually sells for 20 bucks, even as low as 13 bucks. But very recently it started selling for $30. I'm not interested in selling a product that very recently price spiked like this. I want to sell products that are very consistent. So for example, pretty much any of these products where the prices are a lot flatter. So this is a pretty flat price line. I mean, that one's just actually flat price line and very little fluctuations. Typically low fluctuations might mean lower profit because it's lower risk, right? So, you know, the upside of that is also obvious. The lower risk means more predictable growth for your business. So it's kind of a trade-off. I like to find some very predictable, very solid items using tactical arbitrage. So once you've got your columns all set up, you are also going to need to do something very similar with your filters. I have just tweaked this a little bit on here. There's not a lot of changes beyond the ones that I talked about in the initial scan. I would go ahead and throw on a max weight filter. 10 pounds for me, even if it was a 10-pound product, it would have to be the perfect product for me to want to sell it. But beyond that, really nothing is too fancy. Maybe the average rank, I do 200,000, and then average rank 30 days, I do 175,000. That's just to establish a little bit of demand. But beyond that, basically the same as those tactical arbitrage scans I showed you. And so now we've got a big list of data. We've formatted our columns in the right way that we can go ahead and just start clicking through here to see if we can find some profit. All right, so right away, I'm a little bit interested in this product here. These have been a very hot toy lately. I know a lot of people had success selling this product. So I'm going to go ahead and punch through here. The first thing I'm looking out for here is to make sure that this product is actually in stock and it's actually available to be shipped. In this case, we look good to go. And then over here on Amazon, I'm just going to go ahead and validate that it's the same thing. But in this case, it looks like IP Alert's thrown up a complaint about Squishmallows. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't really sold Squishmallows. I know a lot of people have been selling Squishmallow. So maybe the IP issue in that one is still kind of up in the air. If IP Alert shows me a problem, I'm going to stay away. For those of you who are brand new to Amazon, if you sell a product, a brand owner is well within their rights to kick you off the listing. I'm pretty sure you would do the same thing if you were a brand owner and wanted to control your Amazon listings. So it's our job to stay away from those listings, and IP Alert is a good tool to go ahead and avoid those listings where the brands might cause problems for you and your Amazon store. So in this case, I'm going to stay away from this product. I actually want to go ahead and see if I can filter for those IHerb products, see if there was anything specifically from that search we ran together that's worth looking at. So it looks like when I go ahead and change those filters, there's 4 items that it wants me to look at. So right away here, I'm seeing that same mistake. So this is a 2-pack. This seems like it's a 1-pack. So we're going to keep scrolling. This one right here looks to be the same thing. We're looking at some like papaya body butter. So let me go ahead and click through here, see what's going on. It's not selling insanely fast, but that's okay if it's a decent profit. Very predictable price chart there, which is what I like to see. So I'm looking for an IP alert. I'm looking to make sure that the brand itself is not selling it. In this case, I see that it has been sold by one seller for a really long time. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the data and then go to the buy box statistics. And this is going to show me that in the past, it's going to show me everyone who's sold it. So in this case, I'm making sure that the seller who sold it in the past is not not Pedal Fresh. It looks like it's probably this seller right here, this Commerce Control. So what I would do here is open up their Keepa. So we're getting a little fancy. Sorry if you're a brand new seller, trying to show you the ins and outs of sourcing with this method. So what I'm looking for down here is to make sure that the bulk of their listings are not that one brand. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit scared of items where there's been one seller for such a long time, but it seems like sellers are selling this listing. One other thing you could do is go to just grab the brand name, open up a new tab, and then we're going to see if this Pedal Fresh brand is selling on any of their other listings. So I'm going to open up any of the listings that have one seller on them. So we're checking out these guys. So we're looking for, so right here, so Pedal Fresh is selling this product, which means that they are controlling their Amazon products, which means that this one is due for an IP complaint. So we want to move on from that one. This one seems a little bit interesting. Seems like it's selling pretty fast, but there's kind of some price spikes. I'm still interested in seeing what's going on here. And I might also, is this a 2-pack? This seems like a 2-pack over there. Yeah, so that's a 2-pack. So we can go ahead and look through here. Looks like we're looking at our adjusted cost on this was $9.84 after it's all said and done. And this is a pack of 3. So I think it may actually be a little bit lower than that, but let's go ahead and pull up SellerAmp over here. So this product consistently sells for 14 bucks, maybe down to 12 bucks, but it hasn't sold for 12 bucks for quite a while. So I'm going to call this a $14 product, but we need a max cost of $4.22 on this, which is just not happening. So let's keep moving on here. So we haven't found anything from that data from the IHerb search, but I want to go ahead and show you just one example of a good product, because after all, I'm just a guy on the internet. This could be just some big scam, right? So let me show you an example of a product that is a good example. So I went back and looked at all the data. You can see this was product 14 of the same page we were looking at earlier, and I found one decent opportunity. I'm actually gated in this brand. I could probably request an auto ungate, but let me go ahead and just show you. So this product is selling for $28 on Target, and then over here on Amazon, it's actually selling for $65. The price kind of fluctuates a little bit, but it does return. So if you kind of draw like an imaginary line through this listing, you can kind of see maybe the imaginary line ends up somewhere around 65, maybe 60 bucks, but between all these giant price spikes, seems to be selling fairly consistently. Seems like we could at least wait it out and come back to that $65, $70 price. So grabbing the price over here, it's 28 bucks. Let's say after tax, you're paying 30 bucks for it, just to be a little generous there. And then it's selling currently for $65, selling 44 times a month. We're going to make $11.53 profit on this. And this is including shipping costs. SellerAmp actually includes shipping costs. You bake that into your settings. We can also scroll down on SellerAmp over here and look at the exact fee breakdown. And you can see in the total fees, we're looking at an inbound shipping cost of $1. So that's already baked in there. So after shipping, after the cost of goods, after a little bit of sales tax on this item, we're still making $11.53 profit per unit found with just a simple tactical arbitrage scan. If we wanted to dig a little bit deeper on this listing, we would go ahead and look at the offers on here. Let me go ahead and move myself. So if we look at the offers down here, we can see where exactly that this product is being sold. So we've got, it looks like 3 sellers who are selling it for the current low price. I would call these 2 also competitive sellers because they're within a couple percentage points of that low price. So it looks like we're going to be splitting sales between probably 5 sellers, maybe 4 if these guys are not getting any sales at all. So between, let's call it 6 sellers just to be conservative. So we'd be selling 7 or 8 of these every single month. So just like that, you're going to be making 70 to 80 bucks a month selling this specific toy right here that almost pays for your subscription on this tool. And then from here, you can just go ahead and find some more profit. So I'm sure we also would have found a ton more stuff if we went ahead and looked at that reverse searching data, but just for the sake of time in this video, I want to go ahead and end it here. I hope you guys found a ton of value in this video. If you did, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. That adds value to my business. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop those down below as well. I'm always happy to answer those. And if you also want to go ahead and check out Tactical Arbitrage, again, there's going to be a link down below, longer free trial. Would highly encourage you to go ahead and check it out, see what it can do for your business. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.